Stargirl. Stargirl, Chapter 25. Days passed. I continued to avoid Stargirl. I wanted her. I wanted them. It seemed I could not have both, so I did nothing. I ran and hid. But she did not give up on me. She hunted me down. She found me in the TV studio or after school one day. I felt the fingers slipping down the back of my neck, grabbing my collar, pulling me backward. The crew was staring. "Mr. Babcock," I heard her say, "we need to talk." Her voice told me she was not smiling. She released my collar. I followed her out of the room. In the courtyard, a couple cooing on the bench beneath the palmetto saw us coming and bolted. So that's where we sat. "So," she said, "are we breaking up already?" "I don't want to," I said. "So why are you hiding from me?" Forced to face her, forced to talk, I felt my gumption rising. "Something's got to change," I said. "That's all I know." "You mean like change my clothes or change a tire? Should I change a tire on my bike? Would that do it?" "You're not funny. You know what I mean." She saw I was upset. Her face got serious. "People aren't talking to me," I said. I stared at her. I wanted it to sink in. "People I've known since we moved here. They don't talk to me. They don't see me." She reached out lightly and rubbed the back of my hand with her fingertip. Her eyes were sad. "I'm sorry people don't see you. It's no fun not being seen, is it?" I pulled my hand away. "Well, you tell me what it's like. Doesn't it bother you? Nobody talks to you." It was the first time I had openly mentioned the shunning to her. She smiled. "Dory talks to me, you talk to me, Archie talks to me, my family talks to me, Cinnamon talks to me, Senor Saguaro talks to me, I talk to me." She cocked her head and stared at me, waiting for a responding smile. I didn't give it. "Are you going to stop talking to me?" "That's not the question," I said. "What is the question?" "The question is," I tried to read her face, but I could not. "What makes you tick?" "Oh, now I'm a clock." I turned away. "See, I can't talk to you. It's all just a big joke." She put my face between her hands and turned me to her. I hoped people were not watching out the windows. "Okay, serious now. Go ahead. Ask me the tick question again, or any other question, any question at all." I shook my head. "You just don't care, do you?" That stumped her. "Care? Leo, how can you say I don't care? You've gone with me to many places. We've delivered cards and flowers. How can you say—" "That's not what I mean. I mean, you don't care what people think." "I care what you think. I care—" I know. You care what Cinnamon and Senor Saguaro think. I'm talking about the school, the town. I'm talking about everybody." She sniffed around the word. "Everybody? Right. You don't seem to care what everybody thinks. You don't seem to know what everyone thinks. She broke in. "Do you?" I thought for a moment. I nodded sharply. Yeah. I think I do know. I'm in touch with everybody. I'm one of them. How can I not know?" "And it matters?" "Sure, it matters. Look." I waved my arm at the school and all around us. "Look what's happening. Nobody talks to us. You can't just not give a crap what anyone thinks. You can't just cheer for the other team when you expect your own school to love you for it." Words I had been thinking for weeks rolled off my tongue. "Kovac? Kovac, for God's sake? What was that all about?" She was baffled. Who's Kovac?" "Kovac, the guy from Sun Valley, the basketball star, the guy who broke his ankle." She was still baffled. "What about him?" "What about him? What about you? What were you doing out there on the floor with him and his head in your lap?" "He was in pain." "He was the enemy, Stargirl. Susan, whatever. The enemy." She stared dumbly back at me. She blinked at Susan. There were 1,000 Sun Valley people there. There were 1,000 Sun Valley people there. He had his own people to take care of, his own coaches, his own teammates, his own cheerleaders' laps, and you had your team to worry about. I was screeching. I got up and walked away. I came back. I leaned into her. Why? I said, why didn't you just let him be taken care of by his own people? She looked at me for a long time, as if in my face she could see herself explained. I don't know, she said dimly at last. I didn't think, I just did. I pulled back. I was tempted to say, well, I hope you're satisfied because they hate you for what you did, but I didn't have the heart. Now I was feeling sorry for her. I sat back down beside her. I took her hand. I smiled. I spoke as gently as I could. Stargirl, you just can't do things the way you do. If you weren't stuck in a homeschool your whole life, you'd understand. You just can't wake up one morning and say you don't care. And you don't care what the rest of the world thinks. Her eyes were wide. Her voice peeped like a little girl's. You can't? Not unless you want to live like a hermit. She flicked at the hem of her skirt at my sneaker, dusting it. But how do you keep track of the rest of the world? Sometimes I can hardly keep track of myself. It's not something you have to think about, I said. You just know because you're connected. On the ground, her bag shifted slightly. Cinnamon was stirring. Stargirl's face went through a series of expressions, ending with a pout and a sudden sobby outburst. I'm not connected. She reached out to me and we hugged on the bench in the courtyard, and then we walked home together. We continued the conversation for the next couple of days. I explained the ways of people to her. I said, you can't cheer for everybody. She said, why not? I said, a person belongs to a group. You can't belong to everyone. She said, why not? I said, you just can't barge into a funeral of a perfect stranger. She said, why not? I said, you just can't. She said, why? I said, because. I said, you have to respect other people's privacy. There's such things as not being welcome. I said, not everybody likes to have somebody with a ukulele sing happy birthday to them. They don't? She said. This group thing, I said, it's very strong. It's probably an instinct. You find it everywhere. From little groups like families to big ones like a town or a school, to the really big ones like a whole country. How about the really, really big one, she said, like a planet. Whatever, I said. The point is, in a group, everybody acts pretty much the same. And that's kind of how the group holds itself together. Everybody, she said? Well, mostly, I said. That's what jails and mental hospitals are for, to keep that away. You think I should be in jail? She said. I think you should be more like the rest of us, I said. Why? She said. Because, I said. Tell me, she said. It's hard, I said. Say it, she said. Because nobody likes you, I said. That's why nobody likes you. Nobody, she said. Her eyes covered me like the sky. Nobody? I tried to play dumb, but that wasn't working. Hey, I said, don't look at me. We're talking about them. Them. If it were up to me, I wouldn't change a thing. You're fine the way you are. But we're not alone, are we? We live in a world of them, like it or not. That's where I tried to keep it, on them. I didn't mention myself. I didn't say do it for me. I didn't say if you don't change, you can forget about me. I never said that. 2 days later, Stargirl vanished. So in this chapter, everything kind of comes to a head. Leo actually confronts Stargirl on really one of the turning points in the story, the Kovacs injury. I can't believe that we were together. That was right where we were when the pandemic started to affect us and we had to pick up with homeschooling. It's ironic that that turning point of the story was a turning point in the school year too. So he really confronts her about social norms and how she doesn't fit in and that no one likes them because she doesn't seem to care. So it will be interesting how Stargirl reacts to this lecture, because even Leo was shunning her for days since her public displays of affection for him. So the question you can respond to after chapter 25 is, how will Stargirl respond to Leo's challenge? How will Stargirl respond to the pressure that Leo is putting on her to be normal and to be like everyone else? And will Leo be happy if she conforms like he thinks he will? Think about that. If you get a chance, write a quick response and send it to me. Thanks, Team 19.